Welcome back to the Fit Minute Podcast, Fitness for Real People, with your host, Gabrielle Mazar. On today's episode, Gabrielle interviews Shannon White of EnjoyASweetLife.com. Shannon teaches you how to enjoy the sweet life through many things, including polarity work, massage, yoga, and her sensational movement experience. And now here's your host, personal trainer and stretch therapist, Gabrielle Mazar.
Welcome back to the Fit Minute Podcast, Fitness for Real People. I am your host, Gabby Mazar, and on today's episode, I have Shannon White. Welcome, Shannon. She is a massage therapist, a yoga teacher. She's got a couple of things brewing and things that she's doing that I wanted to share with you. Her website is EnjoyASweetLife.com, and she's got all kinds of projects that she shares with you on there. So welcome to the show, Shannon.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you're a massage therapist and a massage therapist and yoga teacher. Tell me a little bit about that and a little bit about your background.
Okay. I started massage 21 years ago, and I've done it off and on since then. I kind of didn't do it professionally for a while, but have been doing it professionally since 2009 steadily. And I ended up somewhere along the way, I discovered I had borrowed a book from the original school I had gone to, didn't know I had it, found it on my shelf. The school had closed down, so it's too late to return it. And it was a book on polarity. And I started reading it and I loved it. And then I was like, who has polarity? And then I found they had it at Southwest Institute of Healing Arts.
Okay.
So I went there to take more body work, to take polarity. And then that's when I got back into massage. And then I recently graduated from my yoga teacher training, and I've always wanted to lead movement and teach movement. So now I'm on that path as well.
Nice. So explain a little bit about polarity and what it is, because I don't think a lot of people know, or if they do, they think it's total hooey, or just don't really understand it. So go into a little bit about what polarity is and what it does for you.
Sure. So all of us have an electromagnetic field, physiologically speaking. And so that's an different energy currents that are running through our bodies and around our bodies. And when that energy current gets hindered or stifled or is in chaos, then there's something that we can do to affect that energy current to help it flow more smoothly. And the energy will affect our body. It will affect our emotions, our mind, our health. It can affect our life experience as well. So getting a polarity session and getting that energy flowing more smoothly can have a ripple effect from internal to external.
Is there a difference between like polarity and like Reiki and crystals? And I mean, what's the difference in polarity, and why does it stand out to you?
I'll actually start by saying what the similarity is. So the similarity is these are all frequency based medicines or practices, and that's really what we're comprised of, is frequencies. The difference is I'm not a Reiki practitioner, but from speaking to a lot of Reiki practitioners, Reiki is channeling universal energy. So, bringing it from source through the practitioner into the person receiving. And then polarity really works with your own energy field. So when I'm working on you, I'm not sending you anything from me or from source. I'm helping your body and your energy work more optimally.
To balance your own personal energy that's out of balance.
Correct.
Okay. So if someone is feeling why would somebody need to have a polarity session?
Well, you mentioned at the beginning you were having some things going on. So what kind of, what drew you to talking about polarity?
I have definitely been feeling out of sorts. Just can't kind of get myself together, get my thoughts together, can't get ahead of myself. Usually I'm a very organized and very intent person. I always have a plan. I'm always 10 steps ahead of where I want to be or where I need to be. And I feel like I'm very behind. I'm just trying to catch up with myself, trying to catch up with life, trying to catch up and keep a grip on who I am and what's going on around me. And I can't seem like I'm kind of in a tailspin, feeling just out of whack is kind of where I've been. So I wanted to do a session because I feel like I need to balance myself mentally, physically, emotionally, to be able to organize what I need to do in order to get everything else back on track in my life,
Right.
for everything to be back in control.
You would be a great candidate.
Yay.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing?
I actually think everybody could be a good candidate. So it can be anything like what you're describing to pain. So pain is another example of stuck energy. Another thing that polarity looks at is the elements. So maybe you've heard ether, air, fire, water, and earth. So those are all just different frequencies of energy. And I'm listening to you and it sounds to me like there's some air elements out of balance. So that's kind of the moving fast, kind of can't get grounded experience. So I might work with your air element if we work together. And really, because we all have an energy field, because none of us are totally in balance, I do think anybody could be a good candidate for polarity. It's about helping process energy that hasn't been processed and helping, like you say, balance.
Mm-hmm. So there's different energies that work kind of like chakras, maybe.
They are the chakras. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what they come from.
Okay. So your chakras work with different energies in your body to balance different things, your mind, your heart, your stomach. I can't remember all the chakras right now. I know them all. This is terrible.
Yeah.
Of me.
That's right.
But yeah, so you're basically balancing those chakras is what you're saying. Okay.
We're balancing the chakras, but there are other modalities that specifically work with the chakras in a way, like maybe they're off body and they're kind of holding, or some people use pendulums. So it's not exactly that. Polarity is, we have 3 different types of touch. So there's soft or off body, which is called sattvic. And that would be more of like a Reiki type touch, but we're not, again, channeling Reiki energy. There's a Rajasic touch, which is stimulating, and then there's Tamasic, which is deep and penetrating. So depending on what you have going on, we may be using off-body techniques or something very physical. And the chakras actually create energy lines that come through the entire body, out the fingers and out the toes. So connecting lines of energy in the body, as well as working sometimes with organs and fascia. So it can be a quite physical thing.
Okay.
And yes, it's coming from the energy of the chakras and other energy expressions in the body. But it looks a little bit different and feels different from when somebody's doing like chakra balancing. Like you kind of imagine a more etheric experience there.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you have an example of someone you've specifically worked on that you have helped to balance, like a situation, maybe pain or maybe mind or whatever that you've worked with before and after the results of that? Do you have an example of that?
I do. It's been a while since I've practiced polarity exclusively. But one of the things in the advanced polarity training that I took that we work a lot with is the autonomic nervous system. So fight or flight versus rest and digest. And I work with that every session, every person, every time. So I'm always working to help people balance their nervous system. And I've had people come in that feel the way you kind of described that you've been feeling, and they leave just like relaxed, and maybe like after a long shavasana, they, feel a little fuzzy headed, but then afterwards they know exactly what they want to do, and it's super clear, and it's like their path kind of opens up for them.
Focus.
So I experience that all the time. Yeah. Focus, clarity. Mm-hmm.
You are in the beginning stages of developing a program Tell me a little bit about that and why you wanted to get into developing that and what it is going to be about.
Okay, thank you. So I actually spoke with a teacher friend of mine yesterday, and he brought up the idea of creating like a 100-hour program. And it reminded me that I had created some continuing education courses 6 years ago that were polarity for massage therapists. So how to incorporate polarity principles into massage in a way that feels like it's part of the massage and it flows. But being able to address the things beyond what massage can address on its own. So if it's more, the mood or mental emotional type things. And so the program would be 100 hours and it would be tailored to massage therapists. So again, how to incorporate those things. And it would include a general session that you can kind of use with anybody. And then information about the elements that I was talking about, ether, air, fire, water, and earth. And if somebody's representing with one of those more strongly, what kind of session you could do. So a particular protocol that you could add into your massage for somebody showing up in that way. And also a reflexology class.
Oh, cool. I love that because I was just having this conversation actually about how you intertwine other things with massage, because it's not just about the massage, like I do stretch therapy. Our friend Jazzy does stretch therapy as well. And, there's so many different things you can add to it to elevate that. You've got acupuncture, you've got Reiki, you've got polarity, you've got stretch therapy. So there's so many things that can take that experience of the massage and just take it to that next level. So it's interesting that you're talking about that, because I think it's a great thing, because there's that emotional aspect, there's that energy aspect, that why are you having these issues with your hips or your shoulders and your neck and your back and spine? Is it in previous injury, or is it stress, or is it, whatever it is, digestion.
Is it your heart chakra or?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. That's causing these issues to continue. And are we just chasing a dragon because all we're doing is giving you, not all we're doing, I get massages and stretches and do this stuff, body self-care regularly. So,
Yes.
But, we're doing massage, but not seeing the results that we should drastically. We should see so much more, and we can get so much more of a result out of it if we're adding these extra elements to it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Very cool. So you also do another movement experience, is what you were telling me about. What exactly is that, and how did you get into that also?
So I've been on quite a journey since polarity. I feel like polarity kind of cracked open my world, and then I've been seeking things since. But I've always been really into movement, and I found feminine sensual movement. I found it in particular in a studio in Chandler, pole dance studio.
Okay.
And I just love that. And so myself and two friends are creating, it's a little bit of it's a tripod kind of a business. So Yoga Femme is one piece of it, and that's the piece that I want to lead. So it's yoga plus feminine movement. And then there's Fit Femme, which is kind of a fitness class, so strength training and cardio with a sensual movement aspect. And then Sexy Femme, which is a choreographed dance routine that you can do just to kind of get into yourself, and or if you want to do it for somebody else, you can do that as well. And I love that because what it's brought to me and what it's brought to every person I know who has experienced it is just more confidence, and also like really becoming friends with your own body. Because I feel like we're taught the opposite of that most of our lives.
Sure. Yeah.
Fight ourselves. And
Definitely.
so no matter what shape you're in, no matter what shape you are, like feel how you can fall in love with yourself. Nobody else has to be around. It doesn't have to be based on external validation, just, getting into your own skin and loving what you're experiencing. So
Yeah, we're definitely taught, maybe not necessarily taught, but through all of media and everything that we see and hear and go through in life that, we pick at ourselves, and we're definitely most judgmental of ourselves, and that underarm fat or your hips or the double chin or whatever it is. So to have an outlet for people, all people, to be able to feel comfortable and good in your own skin is kind of fun.
Yeah.
So that what kind of things, so like in a yoga femme class, what exactly do you do that's different than like a regular yoga class?
In a regular yoga class, my experience has been the moves are more either static, if it's kind of more a hatha experience, or linear, either way, if it's hatha or vinyasa. So your arms are out here or here, here. And then you get into a pose and you kind of stand there in stillness. And that creates, just to tie it back to polarity a little bit, that creates more of a kind of neutral experience or etheric experience of stillness, which I love. And then the sensual feminine movement is more, brings in like self-touch. So like just touching your own skin. And that's one of the strongest things that helps create friends with your own body. Just like, oh, it's my body. I can, be in contact with it and give it the kind of touch that I want.
Yeah, I think I think a lot of people have a hard time with that. Just like,
yes,
touching your, like, not even in a weird way, just like,
yeah,
touching yourself
just
and
stroke your
like,
own face and it sends endorphins through your body and you're like, oh.
And you think like, how weird
Absolutely.
is this? But
Yeah,
I mean, it's teaching you to feel and to touch your own skin and feel yourself. Yeah, feel
right.
yourself in your own skin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the movements also, I don't know if you've ever taken a booty yoga class, like it's very active. Yoga femme isn't so aerobic, but there is movement in it. So rather than getting into a posture and just being still, we do come to stillness, but then, there's movement in it where you're kind of, there's some hip movement and some shoulder movement and, just things that are kind of slower and slow enough that you're staying connected to your own body. So not just rapid, moving through, building up cardio kind of thing, but like where you can just really feel every move that you're doing. And then you add in the self-touch and you're like, what am I doing?
Like a whole new level. Well, it seems pretty fun, and that's out of Chandler. So you do like classes out of that, like it's an actual class that people come to and take at a studio.
Yeah, so we just did the soft launch. I just held the soft launch on Sunday, this past Sunday. And so now I'm speaking with my team about where to get a regular space. The one that we use is one we could rent regularly. It's in Mesa, and where we want to deliver this. So that's also still in development, but I'm like ready to go.
Yeah. Do you do like bachelorette parties or like
That's a great
like
idea. Yes, I'm gonna say.
I mean,
yes.
you should. I don't know. I think that would be fun. It would be a fun experience to like, you have like a group of girls together and everybody gets together and does something like, because they do the pole dancing stuff like that.
Yeah, they do.
Just a thought for you. So
thank you.
You're welcome. So, tell me a little bit more about you have some more stuff on your website that you share, like the Happiness Project and like your yoga and your massage and your polarity. What kind of stuff do you share on your website that you get to people that you want people to hear and see and know about you?
Maybe more than about myself. I have spent since 2007. I've spent the last 14 years accruing knowledge that helps me feel better, find joy, find happiness, get out of my own way if I'm stuck in something. And it's something that I feel like the people that I've met along the way know how to find, but a lot of people who might want that don't even know where to start. And so that's probably the common thread in all the things that I want to share. So the Happiness Project, I started this year, and I just started interviewing people that I know, kind of like your podcast, who have amazing tools for getting to happiness. And so it's just interviews with people, some of my teacher mentors, some of my coworkers and stuff like that. And they all just have little nuggets of wisdom about, if you're feeling stuck or if you're not feeling happy, like, here's a way, this is what I do, or here's a way to get there. And so I love that. And I feel like if nobody looked at anything else on my website, like, watch some of those videos. I think they're great. And that's kind of all the stuff that I do is related to that. Like, how do we find more joy? How do we just feel better?
Yeah. I
want everybody to feel better.
Feel better about ourselves, feel better in our own skin, feel better mentally,
with other people.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's so much more to feeling good in your own skin, and just feeling, like I said, feeling out of control and feeling kind of out of focus. It doesn't just affect me, it affects people around me. It affects, my spouse. It affects people at my employees that work for me, because I'm stressed and they have to deal with me, and I'm sure they think I'm crazy, and then you don't sleep as well, which makes you grumpy, or, it affects all aspects of life. So even stuff like being in pain, like if you're in pain, and all of that affects every aspect of your life too. And I think that people really underestimate how much self-care can help you grow in other areas of your life as well, even financially. I mean, if you're getting better sleep, you're more effective at work, or more effective with your family. If you're not in pain, you can work harder, or exercise better, or just be better, do better mentally, physically, just all around. And I think it's great to have that opportunity to be able to take care of yourself and share that with other people. So I think the polarity is very interesting. I'm really interested in seeing how it works for me.
Are you getting a session with Annette?
I'm getting a session with Annette.
Awesome.
I'm going to see how it goes. I mean, I do, obviously, being in fitness and health, and I don't teach yoga, but I have, all the other certifications in the world, and I take yoga, and I believe in all the energies, and I do my mantras and my meditations and all that too. So it definitely makes a difference. I notice a huge difference in my life personally when I'm doing all the things to take care of myself. And then, when I am taking care of myself, I'm more effective in all the other things that help me better my life. So anyway, I just find it really fascinating. So do you have anything else that you want to share about you, or your massage, your yoga, polarity, anything else that you can think that people should know about Shannon?
The thing that came up in my head was, I just love everybody.
There's nothing wrong with loving everybody.
I don't know why that was the thing that came up. But...
See, my mind goes to, I hate everybody. So I don't, but that's
actually, that was the other thing I was thinking about when you were talking before, is because we're like, oh, happiness and doing all the things, and I just came out of like 3 weeks of feeling pretty stuck. I had some life events and some ways I was eating and stuff that was not contributing to me feeling great. And I was in a like low grade depression kind of feeling, which I've been in before, and I know what works for me to get me out of it. And it was interesting because in feeling that way, and then I would watch people I know who are doing good things in life and look at their joy and stuff, and I'd be like, oh. And it was just because I was at such a different frequency, I couldn't even relate to what they were doing. I wasn't jealous or feeling competitive. I was just like, whatever, I can't even watch you right now.
Yeah, you just Exactly. I definitely understand what you're saying. I kind of feel that's how I'm kind of feeling now. Like, how is everybody
Right.
holding it together? How are
Right.
you holding life together when I feel like I'm like running on fire?
Right. So what I wanted, yeah, so I wanted to just acknowledge that, it's possible somebody listening to this could be like, oh, great, well, they're just happy all the time, they drink the Kool-Aid or something. But like you and I both know what it's like to feel stuck and to feel not at the level of what we want to feel. And we just got to keep using the tools that we know, because we know it'll take us back there. And you're trying a new one. And I think that's a great idea. Like, if you've never taken a yoga class, go take a yoga class and see if that helps. Because it's something different you haven't tried.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. There's always opportunity to try something. If what you're doing isn't working, definitely try something new. You don't have to stick with something just because it feels safe. Right. I mean, I've never tried having a polarity session, but what's it going to hurt? Right.
Right.
It's not going to hurt me. It could help. It could not, but I'm not going to be in a different situation afterwards. I'm either going to be in the same situation or I'm going to feel better. So why not?
Yeah.
Why not take the opportunity to work towards feeling better and getting myself in to the right mindset to be able to be where I feel like I'm doing the things and I'm at the level that I need to be and want to be for my life as it normally is. Right.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Well,
I love that you're doing the podcast, because I feel like it helps that exact thing.
Well,
all these people who do different stuff.
There's so many things that I think people don't think about too, and you can reach people and give experiences to people and share that with them by doing a podcast or by sharing on a website, because people Google everything and they might go, oh, polarity, what is that? Maybe I need that because I feel crazy.
Right.
So yeah, if somebody is looking for massage, looking for some yoga classes, or looking for some sensual movement, they can find you on enjoyasweetlife.com. And you can definitely help with that. I think what you're doing is great. And thank you so much for coming on my podcast.
Thank you, Gabby.
Yeah, you're so welcome. And thanks everybody for listening. I hope that you can find some balance in your life too. Maybe we're all feeling a little bit out of whack because of the past year. So maybe everybody needs a little bit of polarity balance in their life. But thanks everybody for listening. Thank you so much, Shannon, for coming on. And we will see everyone next week.
All right.
Thank you so much for listening to the Fit Minute Podcast, Fitness for Real People, with your host, Gabrielle Mazar. If you would like more information on today's episode, you can find it in the show notes, or you can find it on Gabrielle's website at www.healthybodyworksaz.com. Be sure to share the show, give this podcast a review, and subscribe so you won't miss an episode. Join us next week to hear more stories from people just like you. This has been the Fit Minute Podcast, Fitness for Real People, with Gabrielle Mazar.